When you hit that groove, you're playing a game and you're just cruising. You're really getting into it, but then something happens and you're taken out of the game. That immersion is gone and all that's left is this hollow feeling that you kind of wasted your time. Everything was going great, but now the vibe is gone. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things that kill the vibe in video games. Starting off with number 10, dying during a scripted moment. Probably one of the most obvious examples here. Single-player games live and die off their big set-piece moments, but there's a careful balancing act. These got to be interesting and exciting to experience, and that means play rather than just see. Gameplay means there's often the threat of death to add to excitement and motivation for the player. That's fine. That's not the problem. The problem is if you die during one of these big scripted moments, it completely kills the moment. 1 second, you're enjoying this crazy spectacle. The next, you're staring at a loading screen and doing it all over again. I mean, the magic just vanishes there. There's plenty of games that fall victim to this kind of vibe killer too. One older example I feel like really sticks out for me is Uncharted 3, this big marquee set piece, the plane crash. You know it. You've seen it. When you get into a shootout in the cargo plane, it explodes. Drake grabs onto some cargo, and he rides it down into the desert. It's this huge cinematic event that's supposed to really get your blood pumping, but I kept dying, like within seconds of loading a checkpoint. It really killed it for me because it stopped being about this crazy thing, this adventure, and started being about, all right, well, this thing's going to happen, and I need to do this thing, and then I need to do that thing. It is a sequence of events that I need to get good at rather than an incredible thing that's happening. Seeing Drake ragdoll across the screen for like the 20th time in 10 minutes, it wasn't just demoralizing, it really killed the vibe. And number 9 is performance issues. I love PC gaming, but compared to consoles where you can just start up and the game, it mostly works. Trying to whip a PC game in shape can be a total vibe killer. A lot of games want to start off with some kind of impressive cinematic moment to seamlessly introduce you to the game, but the stutter. Dang. Well, time to jump into the settings and mess around with the options and sliders for 20 minutes and kill any momentum I had starting the game up. Oof. And that's not even getting into the more game-breaking stuff, like all those problems in Alan Wake 2 where items ended up permanently in your way and you couldn't progress. I was one of the victims. I tweeted about that one. Believe me, I went through the whole rigmarole trying to fix it, going into my PC settings, updating graphics drivers, manually tweaking presets, altering. If there were any INI files, I would have altered the hell out of them because I have done that many a time to fix an issue with stuttering or what have you. And all too often, performance issues come entirely down to the game itself, and sometimes it's just nothing you can even do about it. But there's no way to know until you waste that hour trying to fix it first. Even if you do get things going, the rest of your gaming session is kind of spent in suspense. You're like, hey, well, what if that happens again? Then you're back to square one. If it happens again, it has nothing to do with what you fixed. It probably sounds pretty neurotic to console players, but if you play on a PC, you know exactly what I mean. And don't pretend you don't. And number 8, when it feels like you're doing something wrong and you don't really know why, it's rare that a game makes it feel like anything is possible and your choices truly matter. But when there is freedom, there's also uncertainty. Like, have you ever played an RPG where you made a choice, but in the back of your mind, you're really honed in on whether that choice is the right one? I don't mean something that can just affect the ending, but ultimately how you play the game. I mean the types of games where you can like lose party members or destroy entire settlements by mistake, like Baldur's Gate 3. Don't get me wrong, amazing game. But sometimes a random choice you make can completely kill the vibe. Perfect example, at the start of Act 2, you end up in the Last Night Inn, the only good guy refuge in this part of the game. So for most people, you need to access this place if you want to survive at all, because the entire region in Act 2 is shadow cursed and literally hurts to be in without some kind of protection. Talk to the wrong NPC, who by the way, seems like the character you're meant to talk to, and the inn gets attacked by a powerful group of enemies who you most likely will not be able to beat at the start of the act. If you fight and fail, literally everyone at the inn dies and its protection goes down. So the one friendly town in the area is just gone. And it's just from talking to the wrong NPC. And that's a direct choice. What about the times where certain decisions have long-term long-term consequences that aren't obvious for hours. If sometimes disastrous consequences bother you, this is one of those games that it's gonna drive you absolutely nuts. There's a reason most games barely react to your decisions, because the ones that do are really nerve-wracking. And number 7 is protagonists that just won't shut up. Modern games have done a lot to alleviate the grievances of previous generations. Things like long load times, slow tutorials, awkward control schemes. Those things are mostly a thing of the past, but some vibe killers will never go out of style. Sometimes all it takes to kill a vibe is for someone to say something stupid. Take the opening of Atomic Heart. It's a visual feast with incredible world building. You can't help but drink in the scenery and feel immersed by this truly unique vision. And then the protagonist talks and talks. Oh, and he also talks. Does the protagonist have a stupid catchphrase? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You bet.
I can't figure out what it is. Crispy critters, man.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm the kind of person who likes the hammy type goofy nonsense that this guy spews. Not because I think it is good, keep in mind, but I get a certain level of enjoyment from it that I will acknowledge is probably not the most common reaction to it. And for people who are not like that, this idiotic protagonist managed to single-handedly ruin the vibes in this game, and it never really manages to recover. A lot of games that would be better served with moments of silence, they're kind of deathly afraid of the player getting bored, so the character just talks. It's even worse when they start yelling at you to move on or hurry up, but thankfully that doesn't happen as much as it used to. Sonic tapping his toe gets a pass because it's goddamn adorable. And look at Sonic Superstars. That's okay, man. You do the same thing you did back in the 16-bit era, but cuter. Really playing our nostalgia against us there. But most of the time, yeah, it's unbearable, and thankfully there's less of it, because man, that can kill the vibe like crazy. At number 6 is the wall of side quests. It should be fun to explore and find new places in an RPG, but some games just make us dread it instead. Like, have you ever been in this position where you're playing a game, you enter this new area, the first thing you see is a brick wall of new side quest markers just waiting for you to meticulously go around and collect? It's like coming into the office late and finding 30 messages in your inbox labeled urgent. I see this and my eyes they glaze right the hell over. It's worse in games that really want you to have an entire conversation just to get every quest going, because you know it's gonna take like 20 damn minutes just sitting there listening to NPCs talk. You sort of have to pay attention because A, dialogue tree, B, they're probably hiding little nuggets of information in there that you need. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. A lot of the time they are. But you can't watch something on your second screen because something might require your attention. Might. The way side quests work in some games, it's just exhausting. Sometimes when I go in a new place, I just got to turn the game off. I can't deal with that right now. I'll take the time to talk to all these people when I'm mentally prepared. Like I'm socially anxious with virtual people in the thing I'm using to get away from social anxiety in the real world. Come on, man. And number 5 is rubber banding. The never-ending debate over AI and rubber banding in racing games. It's not going to end here because I'm just saying what everybody knows. Yeah, a little rubber banding is necessary to keep racing games competitive or even interesting in a lot of cases. But if it's overly aggressive and the game obviously cheats, it takes me right out of the game. Even in moments where it's not obviously just teleporting AI racers around, it still really sucks to spend the entire race in first place, completely dominated in competition, only for the rubber banding to kick in the last second and get beaten to the finish line. It's not just unfair, it's nonsense. It's annoying both ways. It sucks when you get beaten out of nowhere, and it sucks when you're completely whiffing the race and somehow manage to win just because the other racers get artificially bad at racing. Their cars suddenly become slow when you're not doing as well. In a real race, everyone's trying to win. When you notice obvious rubber banding, it's like when you know your big brother's letting you win in a fighting game, intentionally pulling punches. Feels like it's handling you with kid gloves. But when you're actually doing well and impressing even yourself with your own skills, and the game comes and slaps you down for the audacity of actually being good at the game, it's a careful balance to make races feel fair, and it's something developers are still trying to get right. It's one of those things that's very easy to get wrong too, and when they do, the fun racing vibes are just over.
No more chance. You're done. Pursuit underway. Don't leave me hanging. Info here.
At number 4 is overly complicated crafting. There's no faster way to kill an open world action game than to introduce some kind of really fiddly crafting system. When the crafting works, it's okay. Sometimes it's even really fun. But when you suddenly find yourself needing that one specific crafting ingredient, it can just suck. Especially when you need like this one material to upgrade your equipment, where you got tons of the latter, more rare stuff, but this one random thing from a zone you cleared out ages ago, you need that to progress, but you don't remember what enemies dropped it because it's not something that really matters. Sometimes only spawn specific times, appears a certain part in a huge map, and you don't remember that crap. Now you're behind on upgrading equipment, you're not playing at optimal efficiency depending on how difficult the game is. You may suffer pretty bad from that. These kinds of crafting systems can turn anyone to an obsessive compulsive hoarder, and even when you try to pick up every possible thing, you still end up missing like one extremely specific thing. And of course there's no way to just find it, like find out where it is in the game. Good luck. Oh, and have fun online, because when you search it, you get placeholder clickbait, which is my favorite thing now. Fandom wiki for the game's AI-generated gibberish. We are living in the end times, folks. Crafting systems, especially the overtly demand. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but these kill the vibe, man. Moving on to number 3, just barely surviving a combat encounter and feeling pretty good about yourself, and then grade F. It's true of pretty much any game with a grading system built in. You're struggling through a tough level, or you're fighting an enemy, just barely manage to sneak out a win. It's tons of difficulty, and you overcame it, and the game rewards you with this big F and a chorus of children laughing at you. I mean, not necessarily always a chorus of children laughing at you, but yeah. It's like, dang, like, why not give me at least a D here? An F means failing, and failing means, like, dying, right? If I came out alive and won, that's not failing, right? I don't know. Maybe winning on its own should be a reward, like in Sonic 06. The fact that I somehow managed to beat one of your garbage levels without turning the game off and chucking it into the nearest trash compactor is an act of superhuman restraint. That game had some brass balls to try and throw up an F rating after anything, after all said and done.
Too easy. No sweat.
And number 2, dying over and over again in a horror game. It's like dying in a set piece, but it's worse. Because horror games are very vibe-oriented, you know? The only way someone's going to get scared is if they're really immersed in the experience. And when it's working really good, a horror game can terrify you without barely doing anything at all. When the vibes are off, the whole house of cards falls apart. They can throw the most terrifying thing ever at you, but if you're fully aware of all of the mechanics, you're thinking about patterns and cause and effect, you're not scared anymore. It's just math. I'm not scared of, well, I take that back. But I'm not that kind of scared about math. Once you understand how the enemies work and how precise things are, what you need to do to stop them, avoid them, the game just doesn't seem like a desperate struggle of survival, just a series of actions that you need to perform to achieve the optimal output. When the mechanics of a horror game laid bare, it's just not scary. It stops being a frightening thing. Especially when the game's mechanics are really, really simple. The makers of the Amnesia games and Soma, they were super smart about this. They changed the hunters placement or just remove them entirely if you get caught too much, because they know if you get caught too many times, the scary part just doesn't work anymore. In contrast to something like Outlast 2, which can be extremely confusing visually and has some pretty annoying sneaking sections that feel arbitrary even when you're in the middle of them. It's a game where you're going to die a lot and replay a bunch of sections over and over, long past the point where it feels even remotely scary. When your game is based entirely on vibes, you've really got to work on preserving those vibes.
Stop!
And number 1 is the servers going down, which is, of course, the ultimate vibe killer. You're playing the latest game, everything's going smooth, you're enjoying the experience for the most part, and suddenly the game stops, and you're hit with the ultimate vibe killer, the server error message. It's annoying when you're playing multiplayer, but it's infuriating when you're playing by yourself, especially when you didn't even know a game was going to be online only. Finding out through an error message is just going to kill any positivity you were feeling. Up to that point, it's all completely dead.
When I think of the Justice League, I think of Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Batman. You don't want to mess with that.
As long as you can get back into the game quickly, it's not terrible. But when the servers are down for like a couple hours, maybe even 12, all those happy vibes, that's out the window. I do have a bonus for you too. When the game turns off the spigot and starts the hard sell, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. play enough free-to-play mobile games, you're going to see this. The game starts off real generous with drops and rewards, but when you get further into the game, suddenly everything grinds to a halt. This is when the timers start popping up, when the ads start coming in, with a cash shop and a speed up and a microtransaction, all that stuff. Bleh. Also, usually conveniently after the game asks you for a review. Nothing weird about that at all. Even if the game is fun and you're into it, it just kills the vibes. At a certain point, it's expected, but sometimes a game comes along that's surprisingly decent or has a longer honeymoon period for new players, so when the pendulum swings back, it's jarring as hell. If you play a lot of mobile games, it's probably not a deal breaker because you're probably used to it, but for, basically everybody else, it kills the vibes without a problem. That's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.